Hello, welcome to this dirty room. So I wanted to make a video about my asset workflow because I think it's an interesting subject, and I personally really enjoy seeing videos of other people working on assets. So I'm just gonna make my own. Right now I have this tiled room that's supposed to serve as a bathroom, and one of the things I want to have is I want to have a bathtub that goes right over here, and a toilet or sink like over here. I don't know. I'll figure out the layout a bit more when I make the actual assets, but today we're just going to make a bathtub, and I'm going to show you how I do my UV editing, how I actually create the mesh, and how I texture it using GIMP and photo sourcing. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I've opened up a Blender file. It's naked, there's nothing in here, you know, just the classic stuff, just get rid of it. What I like to do first is I will save this as a, I guess it's not a prop, so I'm just gonna save it as bathtub. Bathtub, there we go. Save it in here, boom, all right. So what I like to do first is I like to have a reference, just because it's really easy to plop in, and sometimes you can forget how large your objects are when you're making them. So this is about 2 units tall. Oh. Quite a bit wide as well. And this will be like, this is essentially like what the player's height is, right? So I include that there just because it makes me happy and reminds me of the scale that I'm looking for. So I think what I'm gonna do for this bathtub is I wanna make something that's about, maybe like a unit tall. Probably something like that. So something I did before this was I actually got a source image. I have an idea of what I want to texture. I found this really disgusting image of a bathtub on Reddit, and I want to have something similar to this in the apartment for the player. So I've already done some cutting up of the texture with GIMP. The way I did this was I used the Unify Transform tool. I'll just give you a quick preview of what that is. Unify Transform is really, really, really useful for doing photo sourcing, because you can do all this sorts of stuff. You can stretch it out, and then you can like shear it and stuff. It's really interesting. It's very helpful. So I already did that earlier so that I could speed up this process. So that's what I'm kind of basing this bathtub on. The heavy lifting is going to be done by the textures, which is the advantage of photo sourcing, because you can have something that's extremely simple look highly detailed because you have a real texture. Got a bevel here. Simple. Something like that, maybe 2. Yeah, I think that's probably good. Bathtub is honestly a very simple thing to model here for this. I think I'll do the faucet later because I don't have any faucet textures that I have. I just have the actual tub texture. Yeah, I think that looks decent. Decent enough. Let's see if I can change the weight here. What does that actually do? I don't even know. Cool. It's just me experimenting too. This is fun. Keep sharp. Yeah, okay. So what if I get rid of this sharp, clear sharp? Who cares? Anyways, now that we have this like base model, which is, you know, it's kind of crappy, but it's there. It does its job. You can do that. And then what I always like to do, I just like to project from view because it gets the job done. I mean, the thing is, like with this, this is specific to my project. This is a very low fidelity project, right? So a lot of what I'm doing is really fast. It's really cheap and fast. Oh, I don't mean to have that. And you get to a point where you don't need everything to be super perfect and all aligned properly. You just need it to be readable and workable for you. So that's really all that I care about, is that it works with texturing and it makes texturing easy. One of the tools that I use, by the way, is this. It's called Texel Density Checker. So it lets me align everything to be the same size so that there's consistency between all my textures. one of the things that inspired this decision was playing the game Voices of the Void, and what I noticed is that it has this pixelated, grungy Half-Life 2 or Source Engine aesthetic to it, and all of the textures are basically the same size. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's consistency with all of the textures in that game. Relative consistency. Like, it's not always pixel perfect, but it is very consistent. So I personally look to that for inspiration. And also, I should probably, I'm realizing that I have these sides here. I might want to just do this and have it like all unwrapped. Maybe I'll make a seam somewhere. Potentially here. You know what, you get to be a seam. How's that sound, buddy? I like keeping space, all the spacing correct, so that I can more effectively use these texture sheets. Because for actually a few other textures, there's this one tool set that I have, or a set of tools, I guess is what I should probably say, where I basically have one texture that contains all of the crap that I need for an assortment of tools. I know that's not very unique, but again, I'm just, you know, saying what my process is here out loud. It's funny because this probably looks so sloppy and bad, which is kind of the point because it is sloppy and bad. Yeah, see, this is what I mean by not caring. I know they're not perfectly aligned, but I want to get this done fast. You know what I mean? I saw this great piece of advice in a miziziz video that actually came from, the piece of advice I think is from Adam Pipe, and it's essentially like, just do not spend more than an hour on an asset. And as I've worked on this little project of mine for a while, I've been really applying that lately because I need to get this thing done. I need to actually, not done, but I need to get some progress that's meaningful. And getting caught up on the small details, especially as a solo developer, is really bad because as much as it might, you know, give you like high fidelity models or something like that, you're spending so much time on shit that nobody cares about. You know, like this part right here, this is just the bottom. Nobody cares. Literally not a single person is going to see that. I don't even know why I unwrapped it. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't matter. And here is where I also like to use project from view a lot. This is very easy. Look at that. You don't have to do any sort of weird shenaniganry to get it to work. Oh, oops. There we go. And deselect you. I don't want you. Boom. There. So that's all aligned. It's well and good. Now, if I was a smart man, I would put this, I'd put this over this so I could save texture space. I don't care. I don't really care that much. I have enough space. It seems like it's fine. So now the next part, which is really, you know, easy. It's all part of texturing. You just export it as a layout, bathtub, UV layout. Simple. I'm also going to change the name of this because I just don't like having these named basic cubes. Right, that you don't do that. Bathtub. I can delete the scale reference also. I don't really need it. Hello? Delete. Thank you. All right, now onto the actually good part. I'll open up my bathtub images here. I'm going to put them on my other monitor here, on my others, because I just don't, you know, I want the space so that y'all can see effectively what I'm doing. Oh, I'm showing all of my files. That is awesome. That's really great. Bathtub. There we go. So now I have this really nice image of the UV layout. I'm going to put this on the side of my monitor. Open up GIMP. And then this is relatively easy. I think this workflow is good. I think it's pretty simple. So what I want to do, I'm going to do the sides first. So this is about, that's a decent looking thing, I think. I don't really care too much about having this like armrest. So actually I might just crop this right away. Okay, see, look, that's actually not too bad, right? Like you get the general idea of what this looks like. It's really grimy and crappy. So the issue with having the seams here and how I've laid it out, I wish I could have put it all in one texture, is that now I have to deal with this. I have these two areas that don't line up perfectly. Again, I don't care that much because this is not going to be seen by most players. I mean, I can just hide this in a corner, like if I had let's say a wall, you know, like this, right? Where I'm just boom, boom, and then I just, yeah, there. Now the player will never see the seams, right? So it really doesn't matter that much, especially because like how many bathtubs are actually going to be in this game? Like it doesn't matter. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably clean it up in post because that's just a very boring process that literally nobody cares about because you have to do it. So everybody knows that you have to clean up models, right? So I don't think it's very interesting to watch. So I want to see how this looks. This is probably this is the one that's probably going to look really bad because it's all stretched. This looks just borderline silly. Let's take a look. Let's take a peek, shall we? Come on, export. Let's go. Something I dislike, and I understand why this is the way it is, but it doesn't reload the texture. I'm sure there's a thing that does that. Ooh. Look how shit that is. That's awesome. That looks like garbage. Oh my god, look at that. First try, nailed it. Okay, so now, here comes the kind of more complicated part, mainly because I just set it up wrong. There are absolutely better ways to do this. Everything that I'm doing here, there's way better ways to do this. Oh fuck, I hate that GIMP does that. I don't need to do that right now, Google Calendar, thank you. But, you know, this is just my method. This is my way of doing things, and I know it's incorrect, and probably whatever, but it's all about what you can do the fastest, what you know, and, you know, what you're comfortable with doing, right? And personally, I find it really gratifying to just fuck around in these little programs. I think it's really fun. I like getting my hands dirty, making a messy, crappy texture, and then just compressing it, making it look really grimy, and then seeing it in game. I think it's very gratifying to me, that workflow. Okay, that needs to be extended a little bit further down, and then it should be all right. This part's just trial and error, and again, I know there's a faster way of doing this, probably, but who cares? I don't. I just need to get this done so I can work on my schoolwork later. All right, and then I'll just move it down a bit more, just a tad, just a touch, so, just a tad. Okay. Come on. Good enough. All right, sweet. Now, what I'm gonna do here is start carving out this little nook because I want to have this part I want to have be 3D. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. I like to include on all of my models like these little segments that are three-dimensional. I think it's very fun to add another element to this.
Here we go. So the finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together if you wanna clap as we take you through this monkey rap. Donkey Kong.
Look at that. Look at that. There is a bathtub, my friends. I'm actually quite proud of how this turned out, especially because I was unsure because this texturing method is so jank. Like some things I have to do, like I'm basically coming up with the techniques as I do this because I'm doing a combination of like, I don't know how to explain it, but like I'm projecting from view, photo sourcing, all this stuff, and then I'm mishmashing it with the actual layout that I made because like I initially had this design here, but then I knife cut everything and then move it over here. So it's like, I don't know, it's this really, it's this fun, fluid process, right? So that actually looks not too bad. I think I want to put that in the game and see how it looks. The one thing I will say, I'm going to come back to this because the side of this bathtub is very visually boring. And again, I know I've said this already. Oh, nobody cares. But the thing is, if you have boring assets, it will stick out. So it is best to add some sort of visual flair. Already what I'm thinking is I'm just going to add like a towel on the side. I might add some shampoo bottle props and stuff like that. I'm definitely going to add a faucet later because a bathtub without a faucet makes no sense. And I have to add it on this side. I got to remember to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to add like feet or anything to this. I don't actually want to change this base thing. I'm just going to add more stuff so that it's grimier and more interesting. Like even when I put this in, I'm probably going to fill it with garbage or something like that. You know, just make it look crappy and interesting, right? So let's export as FBX. Let's go to models. It's not in props, right? It's not in props. Again, you can laugh at my file structure. This shit is really bad. I'm still trying to figure out a file structure, but right now I want to do this stuff as fast as possible so that I can actually get stuff out. Okay, let's open this. And also my Unity has been crashing a lot, so let's hope it doesn't crash. I have an issue with my random access memory, I think. It could also be my processor, but I'm not 100% sure. But sometimes it'll just crash repeatedly. Go to bathtub, load up that texture. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to models, bathtub text, sorry. Point filtering, and I think it's 256 is what I usually shrink it down to. Aha, look at that. Nice and brown and gross. Fits right in with the aesthetic here. I'm gonna make sure to rebake the lighting. And I need to extract this material because this is way too shiny. Turn that shininess off. And then let's just see, before I make a prefab, let's see what this looks like. It's static. Do I have a light in here? I do have a light. It's not a very strong light. Let's make a stronger light here. Does that carry light with it? Let's just make it a bit brighter in here. All right, let's bake this lighting. There are 42 objects with overlapping UVs. I don't even know what that means. It doesn't matter. It does not matter for this project. Look at that with some ambient occlusion. Not bad. Okay, so right now, as you can see, there's some bad. I need to move that a bit so it doesn't look so shit. What does this look like? No. Okay, so here, this is actually what I was talking about. Let me show you what I mean. So what I'm trying to do, as best as I can, I don't know if you can see this very well, but all of these textures are the same size, right? Like I'm trying to, that's what that texel density plugin does, is it lets me ensure that all these textures are the same size. So I'm gonna try playing this without my game crashing, hopefully, and we'll see what it looks like. I'm gonna enable the VHS filter. And would you look at that? A grimy little bathtub. And see those little handles? I don't have a collider on it right now. Pretty good. Oh my gosh, I am a fool. See, all right, I'm keeping this in. I forgot something incredibly crucial. Let me clear this lighting really quick. Remember, when you're in your model settings, you need to generate your UVs. Always do that. I'm an idiot, and I forgot. What I like to do, again, probably wrong, don't care, is that I make it like a bajillion. I make it huge, just so that it can have, what am I looking at here? Baked light map. And then I go to the scale, I put it like 2. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. Not 2D, please. There, look at that. Okay, now let's rebake it. Now the lighting should look a little bit better, because it seemed like it was missing some stuff. Just some like higher fidelity lighting. Which it's funny that I'm saying this project's really lo-fi, but I want to have these higher quality light maps, but I do compress them heavily so that they don't take up much space. There we go. Look at that. It's a little better. I also need to make sure, I think I may have left on this shitty post effects. No, I turned it off. Okay, so this is actually an internal debate I'm having. I don't know if I want to keep this on because it seems to add this nice detail to these ridges here, which I quite like, but then it makes this scene look overblown with ambient occlusion, which is kind of distracting and obnoxious. So I actually might just keep it like this. But anyways, here we go. Once more. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Might crash. Okay. And there we go. And it has a nice mesh collider on it, so I can't walk through it. It's actually, that's completely correct, the size. I like that. That's fits very well. And yeah, so it's quite pixel consistent with everything else. It needs some connecting of the seams here. I just need to go into the texture and fuck with it a little bit. But yeah, that's essentially it. That's my asset workflow. That's how I've made everything here. Like especially with these tools and hammers and such. I've done that. I did that with this little radiator. Did that with this paint can the other day. I did that with this broom, which is actually literally just, the only picture is just this broom head and like a fraction of this broom handle. It's nice. But yeah, it's a really reliable workflow, I find. And it lets me whip up things very quickly. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show, really. And now we have this delightful bathtub that looks like someone put a bunch of rusty nails in it and turned on the tap. That doesn't exist because I have to make it. But yeah. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. For the 2 or 3 people that will see this, I enjoyed making it. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time when I make another one of these eventually. Peace.